before advances to Wednesday night. Item number 5, consider approving the prosecutor's request for a rehired employee to receive credit for prior county service solely for the purpose of determining the employee's vacation time accrual rate. And there's a note, the county's personnel policy provides for a rehired employee to receive credit for prior county service for vacation time accrual if rehired within 6 months. The employee in this case worked as a secretary in the prosecutor's office for 17 years before leaving county employment in January of this year to move out of state. She has since moved back to the county and has been rehired to fill a vacant secretary position in the same county department. Because the break in employment was 8 months instead of 6 months or less, she could only receive the credit for vacation time accrual if approved by the board. Approval of this item is not anticipated to have any budgetary impact.
I'll make that motion.
Or
Any discussion? All in favor of moving item number 5 to Wednesday's meeting, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item number 6. Consider authorizing the chief judge to increase the annual compensation of the circuit court administrator by approximately $15,000 while she is serving a dual role as the interim friend of the court director while the court continues seeking qualified candidates for the FOC director vacancy.
I'll make that motion.
There's support?
support.
Discussion. Judge Clarkson is here. We'll let him present.
Well, I think that's, well, in a nutshell, as you know, the last friend of the court left us to be the friend of the court in Washtenaw County, and we seem to have a hard time finding someone at our salary range that wants the job, and so we need to have someone in charge there. And our court administrator was doing an excellent job as court administrator, and we have her in charge of the friend of the court until we find someone. It's a lot of work doing both jobs. Those are both, with all the drug court stuff, that records and grants and so on that need to be taken care of in circuit court, and just the day-to-day flow in the friend of the court. It's a lot of work, and it's not a job that I think someone should have indefinitely, but until we figure out how we can find a qualified candidate, or someone shows up out of nowhere, but it seems unfair for her to do all that extra work without some compensation. We don't care how it's done. If you say she's a level, a grade pay grade 11, a stipend of $15,000, we're not hung up that it be exactly $15,000, but relatively close, one way or another.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you, Judge.
I know that in the discussions, you don't, I mean, you hope this is not a long-term solution.
We do hope it's not a long-term
Yeah.
solution,
Yeah.
because I'd hate to have Ms. Lab get burned out and decide to go someplace else.
Yes.
So,
Then you have two positions
yeah,
to
we have
fill.
two positions.
Two positions to fill. And I-
Judge, could I ask a question?
You can ask. I hope I have an answer.
Okay. When we hired our finance director, we formed a hiring committee of 4 people to conduct that search and that hiring process. Can you tell me what is the process for?
We advertise statewide
Okay.
through the courts, through the state court administrator's office.
And that would be who then that goes through those applicants?
Ultimately, Judge Stewart.
Ultimately, or,
Well, Chrissy would get them in, but they'd go to Judge Stewart.
okay. That answers my question.
We would, he and I ultimately, if we thought we had some viable candidates, would both look at them. We'd also share those with Judge Dignan, Judge Tom Dignan,
Okay.
and look at what we thought, but we haven't. I'm really shocked. I thought we would find someone who at an intermediate position in a larger county that would think that this was their foot in the door to be a friend of the court, and ultimately move to a larger county the same way Ms. Bray did. This, for her, was a great career step. She came and did a good job here. Washtenaw County is, as you know, one of the more wealthy counties in the state, and she's making a lot more money and they're getting better benefits and on and on. And that's all good for her. She did a good job for us and I'm happy for her, but I was hoping we could find someone kind of in the same position.
Because I think we had some of these same conversations when we decided to search for a new finance director, and I was pleasantly surprised at and for the same pay grade, the applicants that we did receive.
The problem is that anyone we would hire, we would want some sort of, unless they were really exceptional, we would want some sort of friend of the court experience. And so, that
Okay, thank you.
limits us just a little bit. We may have to drop that. We may have to take a chance on someone else. I don't know.
And just to clarify, Judge, if you could, and I know you said this, but I want it just a little more succinctly, that the applications are not being reviewed just by one person. And
They are not.
specifically, they are not being reviewed by Mrs. Ladd.
No.
And there would be a committee of 2 or 3 of the judges who would be deciding on who this individual would be.
The judges would
Yeah,
decide
so
who
the
to
judges
hire.
would decide.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Judge, how long has this been vacant? When did you leave, like in June or something?
May 10th.
Any more questions or discussion?
I have a question. Do we anticipate the referee and the front of the court being a combined role again, or are we gonna have 2 positions continuing forward?
I would think at some point they would be combined, but I can't answer that right now.
Because that was a big point in the restructure, if we all remember, right?
Yes.
Combining those 2 roles was a major reason why everybody was reclassed and raised up and given new job duties.
No, the restructuring was because we had the state court administrator's office come and do
But
it.
you had the money to wiggle
Full-
around and move with that savings.
That may be true, but the restructure was done because that was a recommendation of the state court administrator's office.
So we don't know if it'll be combined again.
Wouldn't that be dependent on the qualifications of the
It
person?
would.
Yes.
And we certainly aren't expecting to spend any more money than we already
Any more questions or discussion?
I'd like to propose 2 amendments. The first one would be to put a 120-day cap on this, so we can if they don't find anybody in the next 4 months, we can circle back and have that discussion again. That would be sometime in February.
So you're making a motion
So
to
we can
amend?
make a motion to amend this language to have it just for 120 days.
Is there support for the amendment?
We are a separate branch of government, and we can configure the friend of the court any way we choose. And if this is the best we can do for the next 6 months or the next 8 months, then that's what we'll do. We don't want this to be permanent.
So I have a motion. Is there a support for that motion before we discuss further the amendment? There's an amendment. Is there support for that? Okay, the amendment fails.
Okay, my second motion for amendment would be, instead of saying approximately $15,000 that we actually put in the language here, what the step, or what the, according to the wage scale, what that $15,000 equates to.
We can do that.
Do we know?
But I don't think we want to get carried away with putting these are not 2 positions that are combined. They're not on the wage study, they're not on the wage scale. There is no combined circuit court administrator in front of the court. So to just pull out a number and try to place it on a scale that belongs to other positions, I don't think is appropriate to do. I mean, I think it's just gonna have to stay where it's at, and then we'll just have to add the money to where it's at. There's gonna be no change in pay grade, pay scale, pay structure.
But
Because to
no,
just
I
put
mean,
it, to say it's somewhere
approximately.
falling somewhere on a category is just not gonna.
Okay, but it says
So,
approximately.
hold on. Dan, did you make a formal motion?
I did, and obviously it's not gonna get the support, but I'm not gonna vote for anything that says approximately, so
We don't expect you to.
call the vote.
Our preference would be to simply give her a $15,000 annual stipend for as long as she does this.
Okay, if there's been a call to call the vote, all in favor of moving this to Wednesday, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed?
Aye.
Motion forwards to Wednesday night.
Thank you.
Item number 7, other agenda items. Hearing none, last call to public, item number 8. Anybody wishing to address the public? Address the committee, sorry. Hearing none, call the meeting adjourned.
Wow.
Good job.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, first call to the public. Is there anyone here that would like to address the committee? Hearing none, let's move on to agenda item number 4. Consider authorizing the Health Department to sign a grant agreement with Michigan Primary Care Association for the Durand School Wellness Program at the amount of $150,000 from 10/1/2019 to 9/30/2020, and authorize the health director to execute the documents.
So moved.
All right, we have a motion and a support.
Yep, this is a renewal of our school wellness agreement for Durand schools. We place a nurse and a social worker in that district. And as you know, Durand is the only school district to have a school nurse that we can fund, which is really nice. We've been in their district now for about 12 years. And it's a renewal with the same amount of funding.
Okay.
What was the one we had for $80,000?
That was for, those were for social workers. One, we're contracting for the social worker to place them in Durand. So instead
That's
of me,
separate from this then?
yep, separate.
Oh.
So rather than hire the social worker for the county, we contract with mental health or health and wellness to provide that worker. We pay health and wellness. They carry the legacy costs. So it's a win-win. And we also
You got a grant for that?
Yeah,
then?
we got, yeah, that's part of this grant.
Oh, okay. That's what I just wondered. It was a little confusing to me, so,
That's okay.
thanks.
Thank you, Larry. All right, any further discussion on that item? All right, all those in favor, say aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion moves on. Item number 5, consider authorizing the Health Department to contract with Shiawassee Regional Education Service District for hearing and vision screening for children aged 0 to 5 in the amount of $13,500 from 10/1/19 to 9/30/2020, and authorize the health director to execute the documents.
Make the motion.
Second.
All right, Larry, any,
This is a renewal of our agreement with the RESD to fund hearing and vision testing for preschoolers. So our staff go, just as they do to all the schools, they go to all the preschools. And the RESD helps us supplement the cost to do that, so we can catch these problems at a very early age with this. So it's a very good program, and it is an increase over last year, which is nice. It's nice when we get an increase, but we're getting paid. So,
all right, thank you. Anything, Gary?
No.
All right, all those in favor of moving this on, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Motion moves along. Number 6, consider an appointment to the Department of Health and Human Services Social Service Board for a 3-year term effective 11/1/2019 and expiring on 10/31/2022 or until a successor is appointed.
So moved.
Support.
Okay, this one, currently we have Londa Knopf, who has served on that board.
Forever.
Yeah, I want to say like 26 years. She has indicated that she's considering retiring. In a phone conversation I had with her yesterday, she would like to continue. So she was a little up in the air, but she has indicated to me that she would like to continue, so.
What is
You
she,
gotta put a
she's
name there.
retiring from the board or from another job?
Eventually from the board.
Okay, so if we reappoint her, we're eventually going to need someone anyway. How long?
These are budgets for every, they're staggered, the governor appoints one of them. If the governor doesn't appoint one of them, then we do, but we appoint 2 of them, and there's, for 2-year terms, each year that we have to approve someone each year.
And who are our names? I mean, is she indicated that she's not willing to serve out the remainder of the term?
Well, no, she hasn't indicated that.
Oh, okay.
She's been kind of on the fence, like, is this the time to, and she's considering, but she was fundamentally involved in Pleasant
Right, I
View.
know that. I
And,
just would hate to appoint someone who's not gonna fill out the term when we could appoint someone who's willing to do so. But if
We gotta put a name in there? Huh?
Yeah, I would recommend putting a name in there. I think
We
if
should
she's,
put a name in
I
there.
think if she's willing to do it, we should,
well, for the full term.
the thing around the county is continuity, so let's keep continuity.
And I think in light of her service, we can't, I'm not willing to just kick her to the curb.
Certainly would like to hear the other names at least.
Just one other, Jamie Burke, the administrative assistant, or executive assistant to Shiawassee County Health and Wellness.
Yeah.
That was our only other applicant.
Yeah, she's very well qualified too.
Yeah, that's pretty qualified.
Well, I think Yolanda does,
We got her name that she wants it again, written and everything, or just verbal?
just verbal.
Well, then how soon do we have to have this done?
I think we ought to have her written
I
down.
think we ought to
like
take
everything else.
We got a verbal and 2.
The term expires October 30th.
I don't know that I'm comfortable voting for someone who hasn't formally applied over someone who has. It doesn't seem right to me.
Was it posted and was there a deadline for the application?
Probably.
Because I think in the past we've said if you didn't have a written application submitted by the deadline, you're not qualified to be considered.
I would expect, regardless of, doesn't matter a name, we don't have to pass through a name today, right? I would expect by Wednesday a formal, application to this from her, or else I
We got a
certainly
formal
would
one from
recommend
Dana
against.
Burke.
What?
We have a formal all of her
Right, I
background.
know,
She's got all kinds of, this 2 pages, 3 pages long.
and we didn't get one from the other.
I wonder if after 26 years, maybe she just
Probably, and
I,
that's
but I'll tell you
exactly
what,
the
Brandon,
kind of-
I'm not gonna be the one that kicks her off that board.
We're not
I mean,
kicking anybody off anything.
She never applied.
If she didn't apply, she doesn't go on the board, it's that simple.
I like what Jamie Burke.
I doubt it would be that simple, but.
Well, I guess we're gonna find out, because
I like to make a
say we
resolution.
vote- I'm going to vote no.
I'd like to make a resolution, we put Jamie Burke.
Second.
Amend the motion to.
Now, amend
Jamie
the
Burke.
motion.
I'll second the amendment. That's how easy this can be.
All right, so we have what? We have a motion by Gary to appoint Jamie Burke, seconded by Brandon. All those in favor, aye.
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 All those opposed, aye. Motion moves along. Item number 7, consider a resolution to designate November 2000. What?
Nothing.
No. Consider a resolution to designate November 2019 as Homeless Awareness Month.
So moved.
All right. Motion goes nowhere. Do we have other agenda items to come before this committee?
I have nothing.
Here, nothing? All right, our second call to the public. Anyone? All right, meeting is adjourned. Thank you.
And I don't think we need to do the business of